Hello guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's tutorial, we will be doing well, 5 tips on how to improve your builds in TrailMakers, especially aircraft. So, without further ado, let's get started. So for the first tip I have is for you to plan it. Plan your design. Don't just go, oh, I'll grab this seat, I'll put this on, and then I don't know, I'll put on a couple of wings, and I'll put on, I don't know, this, and I'll go like this, and then go like, and then I'll put like this on it, and like I'll put like, and then go, ooh, I have my plane now, a very nice plane. So plan your vehicle, plan it. Do not rush or overthink what you're trying to build. If what you're trying to build is a replica of an aircraft, like for example this aircraft that I built, the F5 Tiger Shark, I knew what I was doing because I planned it out. I knew what I was doing. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly where I wanted to put the things. I knew exactly where I wanted to put the wings, where to put the tail, all because I planned the vehicle out. And now because I planned the vehicle out, now I have this. A really nice aircraft. And a nice, a nice replica of the F5 Tiger Shark. So planning is really important. Do not forget to plan. For my second tip, it is to use inspiration. You'll never realize just how important using inspiration is. So, I have an example here. This aircraft that I built, at first when I built the aircraft, I wasn't sure what I was going to build, what I am going to build. But I used inspiration. I looked at other builds, such as the Su-27. I looked at American fighters as well. I looked at a bunch of planes to try to get what I was trying to make, and I ended up creating this lovely plane. So yeah, just use inspiration. Use inspiration. Do not be afraid to use inspiration, because inspiration is really, really important. How else are you going to build aircraft when you just go piece everything together and you're like, oh, I'll put this and this and this and this and this. But there is one exception to this rule, and that's when you're building and you're not trying to achieve anything. You're building to try to not really not achieve, but like you're not using a reference. You're just building off the top of your head, but you know what you're doing. You know, you've already planned it out. You know what you're doing, and when you need a piece, you're using inspiration for that piece. So, for my third tip is to not to be afraid to try new ideas. And by new ideas, I mean when you go to design aircraft. For this aircraft, I chose a very unique nose design that I've never done in my life. I've never done a nose design that looks similar to this. Right? Because I was experimenting, not afraid to experiment to see what I'll be able to get. You know? I was not afraid to experiment to see what I'd be able to achieve using a different design. Even the cockpit design is a design that I wouldn't use. So don't be afraid to try out new ideas. If you have an idea for an aircraft, but you're not sure how to get that nose shape, or you're not sure how to get any of those shapes that it has, try new things. Don't be afraid to try new ideas. That also applies for this aircraft as well. As you can see at the back, I added a really interesting feature. This aircraft has an afterburner. As you can see, it closes and comes out. That was a new idea. I never thought of that. While it has its normal thrust, it also has its afterburner. I've never thought of making something like that. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try an idea, even if it seems like it won't work, or it's just too stupid. An idea is never too stupid. So, try your best. Use reference images. And you will hopefully create a really good aircraft. For my next tip I have is tip number 4. Use different wing designs for different purposes. I know this might sound a bit difficult or extreme, but trust me, it does work. In TrailMakers, it does allow you to do this somehow. Like for example, this propeller dogfighter that I made, it has a swept wing design. Because the swept wing design gives its swept wing design can hide into the body of the aircraft more without messing up too many of the details as well. Swept wings, if I'm not mistaken, provide more lift and are more stable than delta wings. Meaning that for a dogfighter that doesn't go very fast, you would want a swept wing to improve on the lift and get as much lift as possible. Another example of a use where you might use another wing type is, for example, a delta wing type, especially when you're building fighter jets. Like, for example, this one. This aircraft has a delta wing design, but you might be asking, why did I go for a delta wing design? A delta wing design is more unstable than a swept wing design, but it offers more stability. It offers more. I don't know how to explain it, but more unpredictability. As delta wings are not the best source of wings for producing lift, which is why it allows the vehicle to pull off crazy moves. So basically, that's what I have for tip number 4. For tip number 5 is probably a tip you would never think you'd hear, but it's to use glitches. And by using glitches, I mean I don't mean glitches that will like break the game, or like glitches where you lag out the server. I mean like piston glitches, steering glitches. Like for example, on most of my aircraft that I create, like this one, I glitch the seat into the body of the aircraft. As if I want to keep that shape, I need to glitch the body into the seat of the aircraft. Another example of a glitch is, for example, the steering hinge glitch. So if you look on my F5, you'll notice that there is a steering hinge here. that's set to a certain angle and then triggered by this altitude sensor, which triggers the steering hinge here. That just means that whatever is connected will then be forced at an angle, giving me this really nice arch shape from the cockpit, giving me a really nice shape, adding to the realism of this aircraft. As well, here's another glitch that surprisingly a lot of people don't know, and that's the zero drag glitch. So if I were to take this seat, and I'm just gonna build a basic car, right? If I was to just put like an engine, just put some steering hinges and a wheel, and if I was to drive this would go around, we'll say 140. Right? If I want to go faster than that, I physically can't. Well, I can. If I want to go faster than that, I could add some aerodynamic blocks, which will help go faster on the acceleration. So now I'm 50, we'll say 150. But what if that's not enough? What if that's not enough to satisfy you? What you would do then is to take out a detachable block and place them anywhere you see there is drag. At the front there is drag. Anywhere you see there is drag, like here. You could take out a grid block and go in front of it. But here's the mistake a lot of people do, is they think that if they just put it in front of it, it will remove the drag. Like they think if they just do this, like over the whole aircraft, or the whole vehicle, it removes the drag. It has to be physically pressing into the block to remove the drag. But you have to make sure that it's not touching any blocks. It's only touching the system that it's in. So this grid system, it only has to touch these detachable blocks. It can't touch anything else. So now, when I press E, now you'll notice that I go faster. I can go faster than 160. You get the point. The drag glitch, the steering glitch, and the piston glitch can all be incredibly useful for building aircraft, especially when the aircraft cannot produce enough lift, so it needs to go faster. But in order to go faster, you would need to increase the power, but there's no room to increase the power, like this F5 Tiger Shark. There was not enough room for me to add more power into the vehicle without completely changing the design. And because I wanted to keep the design, what I did was I added a drag glitch onto all the areas that had bad aerodynamics. Why won't this thing take off? What that essentially gave me was no drag on any of the pieces where I put this on, making it a lot better. So that's it for today's video. I know I haven't been posting in a while. I'll try post more in the future, but that is it for today's video. I know it's not particularly a long video. It's more of a short video, but those were the main tips that not every content creator tells you, and those are some tips that I think myself are really important when sculpting and building your aircraft, especially when you're going off of a reference image. Going off a reference image can be difficult unless you know how to do it. So that's it for today's video.